Good morning and welcome to Dan Cummins, a Chevrolet and Buick in Paris, Kentucky. We've got a lot to talk about today. We also have a guest of honor in the building. The one and only Sean Hayes is here to join us today. So we're going to do some talking. We're going to learn some stuff this Saturday morning. We're going to kick this thing off right. Let's get everybody going. All right, cool, man. Cool. All right, guys, it's Saturday. I'm really excited to be here. We've had a great week. We've had a good time down at Cartown, right? Or we don't call it that right now. DC CDJR. We've had a good time learning lots of stuff down there. And so I'm going to kick this off. We're going to keep this nice and short. We'll get it rolling. Before I do, we do have a guest in the house, my good friend, Sean Hayes. Mr. Sean Hayes, stand up.
Yes, sir.
Now, Sean Hayes has built a brand. He's built his own brand online. He's one of the most well-known salespeople in the industry. He works at a store down in Florida, a Toyota store down in Florida, and he also has a brand that he built called Sales Hustlers, which is a group where he goes out and just helps train salespeople all over the nation and does it for free, which is awesome, right? Posts videos every single day. He's got this online presence, and he's just built this massive brand. So I like the Kentucky welcome. Sean, glad you're here today to spend some time with us. And as our guest of honor, I thought what we could do is we could talk about 5 things. We'll talk about 5 things this morning that I've learned, because he loves lists, so I love doing lists, right? So 5 things that I've learned from Sean Hayes, from following Sean Hayes. So 5 things that I've learned about success in the modern era from Sean Hayes and some other people. We'll get in here in just a second. But the first thing that I've learned from Sean Hayes is you always have to wear Ray-Bans, okay? You absolutely always have to wear Ray-Bans, okay? He's always got them in every picture. I'll be honest, we had dinner last night, right? We had dinner last night. It's dark outside. This guy's got his Ray-Bans sitting right in the center of the table, right? I noticed he slid them over, and I'm like, and I swear when he walked off, he probably put them on, right? So, number 1, we always got to wear Ray-Bans. Number 2, a dramatic pause is a must in your delivery. Here's what I mean by that. At the beginning of every one of his shows, here's what Sean does. He says, Sean Hayes here, your car guy, Beaver Toyota in, that's how he does it, in St. Augustine. That's how he does it every time, dramatic pause. And I thought, man, we've got to use that, right? Could you just imagine our BDC? Like, could you imagine Debbie Bellamy? She's like, hey, thanks for calling. This is Debbie Bellamy, Dan Cummins, Chevrolet Buick in Paris, Kentucky. Could you see her dropping it like that? Be like, what, did she forget the stove was on or something? Like, what happened in that little pause? But no, in all seriously, okay? I'm joking a little bit with Sean this morning, picking at him. But in all seriousness, I've learned a lot of things from Sean and other people in the auto industry that I think we can all apply and that I want us to learn today. One of those guys is John Henson. Come on up here, John Henson. Yes, John Henson has a heck of a story, man. This guy has a heck of a story. He goes from factory worker, kind of working in a Cincy factory, right? Managing, comes to our dealership, buys a car, sees a bunch of happy, smiling faces, thinks to himself, my job sucks, right? And his exact words to me were, because he was in here at 9:30 on a Friday night, and his exact words to me were, dude, I was in here at 9:30 on a Friday night, and every one of your employees was smiling. He said, go to my factory at 9:30 on a Friday night and see what happens. Since then, this guy's come in, sold 501 cars in his first year, right? He's had massive success in the auto industry. And here's what I love about John, and the best part of the story is just to come, and he's starting to tell it right now. But what I love about John is he realized that it's not about the cars that he sells, it's the people that he's selling them to. John, you have done such a great job of connecting with our customers. Like more than anything, that's what he does. That's why he sells so many cars. So then he went a little bit further, and he created this selling cars for a cause. And last month, I watched this guy give away $1,200, right? $1,200 to some local charities right here in the community because he gets it. He realizes, like it says there, you got to care more about people than you do about cars. Now, I watched one of his videos the other day. I don't know if you saw it, but he was handing out a check to a lady. What organization was that?
It's a Kiwanis Club here in Paris. They help the kids they do a lot of stuff for the kids.
Uh-huh. So he's standing there with her, and church is in the thing, right? Because he's the treasurer, and they're standing there, and they hand this lady a check, and I think I don't know what she was expecting. Like, I don't think she was expecting a $600 check, because she's standing there with John, all calm and cool and everything, and he hands over this check, and she lit up, dude. Her eyes lit up. She gets excited. She's like, oh, my God. She's like hugging and screaming, and it was just awesome, and it was such an incredible story. So I appreciate what you're doing. Keep doing. We can all learn a little bit from this guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So that's one, man. Care more about the people than the cars. We talked about this a little bit last night, but who drives the cars? People, right? Who buys the cars? People, right? Who sells the cars? People. This is a people business. It's not the car business. It's all about the people. We got to make sure we're doing all of the right things to take care of them. We have to understand they all have a story to tell, and it's our job to help them tell it. Second thing, this guy right here, okay? This is Ali Rita, he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for selling the most cars in a year. Him and a guy named Frank Cranitti, they both sell over 1,000 cars a year as individual salespeople, okay? This isn't a dealership, a whole group, or anything like that. These are individual salespeople. Sell over 1,000 cars a year. And when I talked to both of them, I asked them what's one of the things that is a must in order to build this kind of book of business. And they said, well, we lease. We lease a lot of our customers. And I thought about that. I thought, okay, well, why are we leasing customers? And I thought, well, let's think about the story that tells, right? Typical story on an average retail is what? They don't put any money down. We put them in the longest term possible. They come back and see us 3 years from now. They're upside down. They're not real happy about it, right? Because cars are depreciating assets. We all know that. Every time you buy a car, it's going to go down. We just can't avoid that. It's a depreciating asset. So then they come back. They see us. They're a little bit upside down. We have a tough time. We try to get them into something else. We roll it, and we do it again and again and again. That's kind of the story, right? Whereas the story on a lease is completely opposite. The story on a lease is they buy the car from us. They get the car they want. They get it at a payment that they want. They come back 3 years from now, and they do it all over again. Martin gave me the numbers from last month. Last month. We looked at the attrition from 3 years ago based on last month. 96% of our customers that leased a vehicle 3 years ago came back and bought another one. They came back and were able to buy another car last month. 96%. Would you love it if 96% of your customers would come back and buy another car from you in 3 years? This is the better story. This is the story that we want to tell. You need to hone in on this. You need to understand this. This is what works. It's how you build your book of business, and it's how you do the first thing. Number one, which John does really well, which is care more about the customer than we do about the car. We got to put them in the best situation, right? So that's the second thing. We got to lease more customers, man. We got to explain to them what a lease looks like. Third thing that I've learned from this guy right here, Mr. Sean Hayes, consistency, visibility, and availability. Sean goes on every single day, and he does a sales meeting. He does a sales meeting every morning for all of his people. They know they can count on him. They know he's going to be there every morning. He's going to share some wisdom, some value. He's going to add some knowledge. He's going to help them in not just selling cars, but help them to become better people. He's consistent with it, always. He's there. He's visible, always. He's there, and he's available, always. Now think about the story that tells. What story does that tell to your customer? Because I know the story I hear from a lot of customers. Can't get a hold of him. Don't know how to track him down. Won't call me back. He's not available. That's the story I hear a lot of times. You think they're saying that about this guy? Heck no, they're not saying about this guy. Oh, I've got a problem with my vehicle, or I've got an issue, or I have a referral. I have somebody I want to send somebody to. Oh, well, Sean's right here. I know exactly where to find him. I know he's available. I can reach right out to him. It's consistency. Does that make sense? We've got to get more consistent in the way we brand ourselves. We've got to get more visibility in the way that we brand ourselves. When do people buy a car? They buy a car like Okay, great. I'm going to buy a car. They get the bug all of a sudden. We don't know exactly where it comes from, but it comes, right? They get the bug, and they're going to buy it from the person that's visible, the first one they see, right? It's like a newborn baby chick or whatever. It pops out, looks around. Oh, that's mom. It goes to mom. Customers need a car. Oh, my gosh, there's Sean. I'm going to go to Sean. We've got to get better at this as individuals. We've all got to get better at this because we have a heck of a story to tell, don't we? We have a heck of a story to tell. We're eradicating the negative stigmas associated with the auto industry. We're treating people better with concern and with care. We're trying to put them in good situations with their vehicles. We're trying to lease them and get them in the right vehicle at the right payment so that they can come back and do it again with us all the time. We're giving back to the community, right? John didn't have to give back to the community. John could have said, dude, I sell 45 cars a month. I'm just going to rake in all the cash. I'm just going to keep it for myself. He could do that, and he's good enough. He's good enough to sell 45, 50 cars a month. He does not have to do selling cars for a cause. He chooses to do it. He chooses to give back. It's the right thing to do because it's about the people. So continue to tell our story. Be consistent, be available, and be visible. Fourth thing right here that I've learned from watching Josh Cummins, Dusty Cummins, guys on social media that are doing really, really well, Sean, people like that, everybody kind of across the industry that's making a move right now, is they understand that in order to be a better salesman, you have to become a better person. Let that sit in for just a second. If you're struggling, if you're up against any walls, if you don't really understand why you can't break through, you're doing all of the right things, you're following the processes, we need to take a look in the mirror. What kind of person are you? Because who's buying cars again? People. And who are they buying them from? People. So you could be the best closer in the world. You could be the best process guy in the world. But if you're not a good person, you're not doing the right things every time, you're not going to have massive levels of success. I've had the pleasure of walking and sitting next to this guy for the last few weeks. And I know I thought about it this morning right when I put Josh's picture up here. I'm like, dude, I've been kind of like talking a lot about Josh lately. You know, and I don't want you guys to think I'm kissing his butt because I'm not. I'm just watching him work. I'm watching him work, man. I'm watching him work it, and I'm watching how he cares so deeply for every person in this place. Yes, he's a car guy. Yes, he wants to sell cars. Yes, that's how he makes a living. But he doesn't really care about the cars. He cares about you guys, the people. He's in there talking to the customers, right? I see him wrapping his arms around the customers. I see him laughing. I see him joking. I see him doing all of the little things. He's spending money. He's investing so that we can grow, so that we can expand. We have this new store over here. Those guys are out. We're moving in. It's a better experience for the people. This dude's a good guy. Raise your hand right now. Raise your hand if you've bought a car from Josh Cummins. Okay? Dang near every single person has bought a car in this room from Josh Cummins and Dusty Cummins. We've all bought cars here. Why? Why? Because they're good people, man. They're good people. Let's be honest. Chevy makes a good car, right? Dodge makes a good car, right? Toyota makes a good car, right? Honda makes a good car. They all make good cars. So why doesn't everybody in this room have all these different brands and stuff? No, I had a party, a 40th birthday party down there, and every single vehicle in the parking lot was a Chevy. Every single one was a Chevy. Is it because Chevy makes the best car on the planet? No, it's because we work for one of the greatest people I've ever known. People buy from people. You become a better person, you become a better salesperson. All right? Last but not least, and that's a heck of a story, by the way. Last but not least, the real value to what we do is in the story. I got to experience some stories last week that were amazing. They were phenomenal, man. I cried like 3 times last week. I'll be honest. I cried on my Rise and Grind show. I cried in front of 2,000 people. But I cried a couple times last week because we really got a chance to dig in and experience some stories. Erica had an incredible story where God led her to be right in front of the guy she needed to be in front of so that she could have a better understanding of why she's here, so that she could understand that it's about the people, it's not about the cars. If you haven't watched her video, watch it. The story is incredible. It's incredible, the story that she told. Darian, he's helped us in this dealership for years and years and years. He's sang at our Christmas parties. He's done tons of videos for us for free. He's never asked for $1. He's always been the type of person that just gives. Leads a church, volunteers here, does piano lessons for my kids. He's one of the guys that led me to be baptized and to understand that it's bigger than just us. He's one of those guys that does that, and he does it for people every single day without ever asking for anything. He's one of 13 kids, and all their names start with D. Could you imagine being in that house? Darnetta and Dion and Darian, all their names start with D. But he's one of 13 kids, and he spent his whole life getting hand-me-downs. Hand-me-down clothes, hand-me-down everything. His family didn't have a lot, you know? So everything was shared, everything was hand-me-down. And his wife called me, and she said, Glenn, he's wanted this brand new truck for so long. He's wanted it for years and years and years, and I want to get it for him. It doesn't quite fit in the budget. Can we help? Can we work something out? And we worked it out, man. Josh chipped in. Josh and Dusty chipped in. The dealership chipped in. I worked on it hard, and we worked it out, and we were able to get Darian his first new thing like ever in his life. It's the first thing he's ever had new. He's 30-something years old. He was driving a 2005 Xterra, I think it was, with 200,000 miles on it. That's what he was driving, man. That's what he was driving back and forth from Louisville to Lexington dang near every other day so that he could serve people, so he could serve at the church, so he could serve at the theater, so he could serve back in Louisville. That's what he's been doing. So we got to be a part of this story where she surprised him. We brought him down here and told him that we were going to just make another video and that we needed his help. And, of course, he rushes down here to help us because that's what he does. And in the middle of it, Josh comes running out in the middle of the rain and brings him his deal jacket and is like, hey, by the way, this truck you're shooting a video on, it's yours, buddy. This is your truck. Your wife bought it for you. I know. Can't stop it, Amber. You make me do it again. But he's like, this is yours, man. This is yours. And Darian didn't even know what to say. He freaked out, man. He totally freaked out. Like, he was like, happy, sad, mad. You surprised me. What the hell? Like, he couldn't process. And this guy's an actor, man. That's what he does for a living. Like, he's a Broadway performer. So he's used to things kind of flying at him all the way and just staying in character, you know what I'm saying? But he was just flabbergasted. And then he pulled me in tight, and he's got these big old muscles now. And he pulled me in tight when the camera couldn't hear him. He whispered in my ear, like, Glenn, I'm going to kick your butt. I can't believe you did this to me. You got me on camera, and I'm all emotional. You know, he was upset in a good way. But it was an incredible story, man. It was just an incredible story. And all of these, it's all incredible stories. Erica's story is incredible. The story of the Cummins brothers is incredible. The story of John, you know, selling cars for a cause, and Ollie and Frank and what those guys are doing, and Sean's out there telling his story, man. He's telling his story every day, and it's incredible. This guy went from nobody knew his name 14 months ago. Nobody knew his name. Now he's sitting in here with us. He's sitting in here with us. He's visiting the store. We've reached out. We've become really good friends. Really good friends. Because he's doing the right things and he's telling his story. So my question for you guys, today, this weekend, this month, what story are you going to tell, man? What story are you going to be a part of today and play a big part in it? How are you going to tell that story? How are you going to deliver it? What's your story going to be? Am I going to be able to stand up here, hopefully, a year from now and tell the story of your rise? How you went from doing a good job to doing a good job to impacting the planet? Am I going to be able to tell that story? When you're with your customers today, find out what their story is. Because it's not about selling a car, man. It's about the people. I need you to dig in. I want you to dig in, find out why they're here. That's the best part about the auto industry, is every single day we get to share stories with people. We get to be a part of people's stories. But are you going to be the villain in the story? Are you going to be the mean bad guy that couldn't help them, wouldn't help them? You were too busy, couldn't come up with a solution. Sorry, I got 3 customers. Sorry, I can't call you back. Are you going to be the villain? Are you going to be the hero, man? Which one is it? That's the question I've got for you today. All right, I'm going to show you guys a quick little video, and then we're going to wrap up, and I hope you learned something. Ashton, welcome to the big leagues, buddy. What do you think? Hey, man, we work at a fun place. We work with fun cars. We get to do fun things. It's really fun. And being a part of people's story it's a blessing. It's such a blessing. And being a part of this particular story is extra special. It's extra good. So let's make sure to go out there and do what we do every day, which is, what do we do? What do we do every day? What is our mission? What is our mission, folks? Tell everybody what the mission is. Because I am on a mission to eradicate the negative stigmas associated with the car business. I can do this by making people feel special, feel important, feel like they're the only one. I will offer an experience that will exceed my customers' expectations today, tomorrow, and in the future. I will not just sell cars. I will create fame. Let's have a big day today. Let's have a big, big, big day today. On that note, make sure you get your 401k packets in to Jessica. She told me to say that. And Nick, hi. Nick's here today. If you guys need anybody, insurance, needs anything like that, Nick's here, all right? Let's have a big day. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys have an incredible day. Hope you're going to work on the story that you're telling. Hope you learned something. And thanks for tuning in. I kind of hope you hit the share button, too, because I thought that was pretty good. So hit the share button. We'll see you guys. Have a great Saturday.